Hello everybody, welcome to Bear Reviews with me, your host Jack, and welcome back to a rather boozy night with my friend Matthew. We've had quite a few now, so forgive me for the slurring of the words. This is another beer we brought back from Chicago that I promised Jose that I would do a little bit of a review on. This is one that he gave me in our trade. This is Big Hugs from Half Acre Brewing Company, who are based in kind of northern area of Chicago. You might notice I'm actually holding the label in my fingers. It's because it's actually a peelable back label, which is awesome. So from the outside, you can see they've got this kind of jungle scene with the big cat in question being hugged by I don't know. It's some kind of crossover between a snake and a chameleon, whilst other animals look on in amazement. And inside we have a demonic version of said cat. With some flames in front of it. So this is Half Acre through and through. Their branding is kind of quite interesting and quirky. If you look back on the video of the brew house, you'll see they have like a big mural of Bigfoot and stuff as well. So there's some interesting stuff. This is a coffee-based Imperial Stout, clocking at a nice 10%, in collaboration with Dark Matter, who've done some amazing coffee. I really enjoyed trying their stuff and going to their what they call their home base, where they brew some coffee up there. I was telling Matt an interesting story about how big a stoners they are, and they are definitely big stoners in Dark Matter. Poured out into a glass, we have a nice pitch black beer that I promise you indeed did have a nice big fluffy off-white khaki coloured head when we poured it, but it does lace rather beautifully in the glass. On the nose, we have some big coffee notes. That kind of nice grassy but chocolatey, almost sort of biscuity coffee note in there. And it's definitely got some pungency. There's a little bit of alcohol, I'd say, on the nose too. But mainly, you got a big punch of almost kind of like fresh, kind of French press coffee, which is pretty decent. Do like the aroma indeed. So cheers everyone, let's get in there and give it a good old try.
Cheers.
So I'm not gonna lie, we did have a couple of sips of this before we really got started with it. I mean, you can hardly deny it when you crack it open. But I mean, the initial impressions we had were it's a little bit thinner than we were expecting, to be honest. It's not to say it is a thin beer, but it's definitely not as chunky as, say, something like the 9, which we had earlier, which had a lot more. I definitely had a lot more chunk, though not necessarily as flavoursome, and the Devil's Spear, which was, you know, absolutely massive in the mouth. I think it was big and rich. Instead, there's quite a lot of carbonation, but I don't think it has as much presence and there's chunkiness in the mouth. But it's still pretty tasty, that's for sure. You definitely get the coffee through. I definitely get that chocolate biscuit digestive note. I get a bit of grassy coffee over the top of that. There's quite a level of bitterness, and whether that's kind of like coffee astringent, or if that's hot bitterness, I'm not entirely sure. Tiny little bit of booze in it as well, I think. There's a little bit of just sweet alcohol, bordering on the kind of lines of a bit of heat in the back of the palate as well, I think. But all in all, I definitely think it's a decent attempt, and I know this is quite a popular beer, and it's a very kind of limited release in the Chicago area at least. I can see why. It's got a lot of big coffee flavours in it, and I suppose it does do what it says on the tin. It's a coffee Imperial Stout. You're going to get a punch of coffee. You're going to get a bit of that kind of Imperial Stout note underneath it. And that's all we can expect from it. I suppose after having a bourbon barrel aged barley wine, it's going to not be as punchy. So perhaps it's us just getting things in the wrong order. But it's an interesting beer, and it's well worth trying and seeking out. And you know, they're a cool brewery. They do some interesting stuff, and they have an awesome label, that's for sure. So please like, favourite, comment and subscribe, and until the next beer review, cheers.